Breakfast with Cobb Colvin.
Trickstar Radio.
35 minutes past 8 here, Trickstar Radio. We're live inside the building. This is Breakfast with Colvin. We've got two very nice guests in the building. We do have CK3. How are you doing, sir?
Very well.
That's what I like to hear. And Anna, how are you doing?
Wonderful.
That's fabulous stuff. That one there coming from Ana Correia. That one is our track of the week. How are we both feeling about that one?
Yeah, nice.
Good,
I like
vibey.
that for this time in the morning. Perfect.
I think it's just so full of colour.
It is, yeah.
And obviously they're playing in Brighton this Saturday, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing them play live.
Nice.
When they play live, they just have they bring a full band down, and they've just got.
That must be a fun old gig to go to, for sure.
They got booked for a DJ set at Tropicana a little while ago, and it was one of the best nights I had in a while, like leading up to that. And it's just good vibes, you know what I mean? Like good energy. I don't want to be one of these people. Good vibes,
Good vibes, man.
Good vibes, man.
Changed my life.
But I think it's kind of missing a lot of the time in dance music. I do like to have like a bit of like happiness. And saying that, I prefer sad dance music, but that for me is just like I'm just in a good mood when I hear it. But yeah, Ana Correia will be in Brighton this Saturday. So I want to look at DJing in Brighton specifically here. Like, how would you define yourself as a DJ? Would you give yourself like one attribute that is like your standout attribute?
I'd say in Brighton, I quite sort of pride myself on sort of getting the crowd going. It's sort of getting them from, coming in, standing still and sort of just waiting for the main headline act to actually just sort of really getting them,
Which is a difficult thing to do.
It is.
It's a difficult thing to do. There's no two ways about it. I think when you're in a position, especially if people are there, you can tell people are there specifically to see a headliner. Yeah. You're almost like going, come on, please, give me something here.
Yeah.
Give me something here. And it is quite difficult to kind of look at and be like, what would be your typical way of getting people to move?
I think just it's about building the sets up, because I feel if you sort of, it's almost a funny one, because it's like if you go with what the mood is a little bit and just sort of progressively lift it up, I feel was the best way of doing it, because I think I've seen sets where people have seen that people aren't moving, so they're going straight in with a heavy sort of bassline tune
just to please
throughout
the
the whole
basically.
set, but it's almost like it doesn't always work, because it's like then they end up getting bored of the sort of the one thing. So it's a difficult one, but I think that's the way in terms of building the sets up, because getting people to move is definitely the way to sort of start warm-up sets and early sets. But I'd say that for me it's sort of progressed now into being able to play some of my music, even if it's not sort of totally finished or released, but and then sort of over time my slots have got a lot better, which I'm obviously grateful for. But I feel like that's sort of because I've played the sets for the right time. Yeah. And I think that promoters do realise that, and I think the promoters.
I think good promoters do.
Yeah, and I think
good promoters do.
Generally, promoters do. I think it's become a bit more of an art now, and it's become a bit more time and effort does get put into who is going to support it, even if they don't think they're particularly well known. I think as well about trusting that person, that sort of person to play the set that is going to work on the night as well.
I've always had a thing with promoters that I feel, if something I really can't stand. I can't remember who I said this to. I think it was Drumwork the other day on this show. I really can't stand it if a promoter to book someone, and then they say, "Oh, can you play this?" which is something that they don't play. That for me is poor promoting. That for me is like poor event management, because you're booking someone to do something they don't want to do.
They're just a DJ on the night, aren't they? Just
I've received sort of stuff like comments like that when sort of being approached to play a set. I'm not going to name names, but it does happen. It does happen.
And I think that's all about building a reputation at the end of the day as well. Once you've got that reputation of this is the sort of stuff I play, then you kind of get slotted in a lot better. And I think that's the bit that takes time. That's what I think a lot of kind of I don't want to say room 2 DJs, but a lot of upcoming DJs struggle with, is making that transition between being someone who will play whenever for whatever into being something that they have a defined style.
Which sort of leads on to a point I've got where, when you are starting to DJ and when you are you're really pushing and up and coming, it is important. I think you've got to not take sets. You can't take everything that's offered to you. It's quite important to really pick and choose and sort of, because if you do them all, it can almost backfire, because I think then some people, I don't know. I think that promoters might not want to book you too much because you're booked on so many nights and stuff like that. But
especially just say in one city.
Yeah.
Especially in one city.
Yeah.
It's difficult anywhere to kind of come up primarily based off shows in your own city. Yeah. But in Brighton, it is very easy to get sucked into that thing of playing here Friday, here Saturday.
But wouldn't you say that's Wednesday. A good thing to get your face like out there? So
to an extent, I think there's a point you have to go, right, I'm already playing 3 shows a week here. and they aren't improving.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And you have to kind of do it. But something I do want to touch on here. It's something I've seen popping up on Twitter a lot the last couple of weeks. It's something I do find quite funny. The scenario. Say you're at a show and you're playing. Say you're doing like a 12 to 1. You're like peak warm up time here. So you're kind of playing. You're playing away. It's got to about 12:30, and then someone comes up to you and asks, "Oh, can you play this tune?" As Anna is about to demonstrate, basically.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so.
Hey, could you play "Boys, Boys, Boys" by the Venga Boys?
No.
Easy. I like it. Straight to the point.
So have you had that happen?
I'm trying to think if I have had it happen. I think I have had that maybe once or twice, and I've kind of just disregarded it, to be honest, just because I think that it's disrespectful to a certain extent. As much as that person is definitely not meaning it in a rude way. I think that, you know, I just would say, look, I'm playing a set that I've been booked to play. I'm not playing for, you know, I'm not.
You wouldn't say
playing.
That nicely though, would you?
No.
Sorry, man. I'm playing
No,
a
probably
set.
not. But
have you ever had the thing? I've had it a couple of times where people have come up to me multiple times, and I've kind of gone, "Yeah, sure, I'll have a look to see if I've got it," and then they've come up like half an hour later.
It's not a wedding. You can't just ask someone to play.
There's a time and a place for requests. Somewhere, for instance, if you're playing like a more sort of commercial event or a commercial setting, like for instance a shoosh, like for instance a prism, something along those lines. I think people are entitled to ask for a set because people aren't playing like a niche track listing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whereas somewhere, for instance, like a Patterns or an Arch, people are there to play a niche track listing. That's the main difference people don't seem to get a lot of time, is you have kind of your niche DJs and you have your kind of more commercialised DJs, neither of which are a bad thing at all. And I actually think a lot of the time being a good commercial DJ is actually a lot harder than being a good niche DJ a lot of the time. But what I just think about it, I do think it's quite funny when people are persistent and people are like, play the tune. Play the tune.
But I think as you sort of touched on it, it would depend on your set time. It would depend on how many sets you played, how far into your career you are, because you probably would debate just sort of doing it. If you're really early and
as well. If you had the tune.
Sure.
I think that's the thing most of the time. You don't have the tune. People are like, have you got this by this person? You go,
no.
Don't have it, which is actually a get out of jail card.
And then they'll probably go and stand in the smoking area for your whole set.
And then they'll stand there going, I didn't even have this. I was like, why would I have that?
Yeah.
Makes no sense. I tell you what, the worst. I'm talking about this now. I literally I made a request at the place I was at on Saturday night, so I can't really.
You made a request. You're that guy.
Yeah, I was that guy.
What did you ask for?
Burner Boy. Anybody?
Where were you? Sorry,
I was at the Western, which is sort of okay.
I think that's slightly different when it's your birthday as well. I think you're slightly more warranted to ask.
Yeah, you're allowed.
But saying that, say you're playing, I don't know, the Arch. Saying you're playing an Arch Room 2 set, and someone comes up to you with big birthday badge on going, it's my birthday. Can you play? I don't know, something. Anna, go.
I just keep thinking about the Venga Boys. I don't know what is stuck in my head. I don't know. Just the only one I can
anyways,
think of.
it's just a fun conversation to have anyway. So what would be your immediate response now? Someone says, do you have this, and you don't have it. What do you say?
I'd say I don't have it. I'm sorry. I said my set will still be really good.
I promise.
And you'll learn loads of new tunes and you won't need to request that tune anymore. So just stay, hang around. And we'll be good.
That's a really mature response, to be honest.
Yeah, very mature.
We're going to jump into some more music next. This one coming from Frisco. This one is Imagine. Don't go anywhere. We're live on Trickstar Radio. We've got CK3 in the building. One more time. What is the social media handle?
You can find me on Facebook, CK3.
CK3. That's what I like to see. Anna, and you yourself?
At _Correia.
I liked it. We'll get there eventually.
Waking up Brighton.
Breakfast with KXVU.